Hello, everyone, and welcome to the back nine of the 2018 Memorial Championships round number 3, taking place at Fountain Hills, Arizona. I'm joined by Valarie Jenkins, 4-time world champion and champion of this event. Val, how many times have you won this?
Oh, you should have asked me beforehand. I don't know, a few times. I love coming to this tournament. I'd been there, I think, for 15 years in a row. This is one of my first years to actually not be there. 1 year I missed it because I was injured, but I love coming to it. You always want to be someplace warm when it's March.
You do. Well, we missed you this year. We know you're taking care of some family, and here we are in the Disc Golf Pro Tour kicking things off. And DGA, thank you for being a proud supporter and sponsor of the Pro Tour. And Sarah Hokom had birdied hole 9, the Peninsula, to finish out the front 9. And now here we are over on hole 10, 381 feet. This needs every bit of the pull that you can get on it, and probably a tricky putt.
Yeah, that was a tricky forehand to throw, but Sarah Hokom can make those shots happen. You can see Jessica, she chose the backhand right there, and it really involves a huge crush. So Paige was showing them how it's done, and the crowd loves it.
We saw Paige with a great putt on the opening round here on at Fountain Hills, hole number 10, and Jen Allen's is a little bit, looks to be a little bit low. Hokom's standstill forehand, it looks more like, as she's coming up that left side. And how protected is this basket, Val?
It's pretty protected. Jessica probably had a more difficult shot than Sarah. Same with Jen right here. Oh, it's tough. That's not where you want to land. You want to land at least past that tree, or if you're going to go the inside route, land a little bit shorter into the right. Paige is going for another big putt. Like I said in the previous round, I don't know if you caught that clip, but I've seen Paige make huge putts on this hole. Oh, and Sarah went for it as well. This is one of the holes that you can go for the putt. There's nothing behind the basket, no OB, no water. You're down in this little bowl. And so you got to run for the putt if you have a clear look at the basket.
I think that's a great point, is that you can be very aggressive here because it really can't get up and roll. It can't find OB. It's in this little indentation in this lower lying area. So aggressive is definitely the word here. And we saw, as you said, Hokom not able to get up and down. She's looking at the bogey. I still don't know how Paige made it through that tiny little window and grabbed the top of the basket. But this is Weese to save her par.
Oh, that just barely made it in, but it's in, and that's all that matters on the scorecard.
She's just sneaking it in there. And even on the short putts, Hokom's still contending with that tree.
Yeah, that's a tough one to get a bogey on, but if your drive isn't putting you in the right spot and you really just don't have an easy upshot, a bogey can happen on that hole, and that's unfortunate to start off that back 9.
And as of right now, we see that Paige has a 3-stroke advantage as we're moving here into the back half of this course.
Man, you can see right there, that's how strong Jessica's sidearm is. You can choose sidearm and backhand depending on the shot, and it's amazing to have both those options depending on the hole, and both of them very strong throws. And Paige looks like she's even with the basket just about. 390-foot hole. Let's see if Jen can follow it up.
And hers is starting to fade out. She's lucky it checks up where it did, because a little bit more on that, if you have the nose up, you can easily find the OB sidewalk. So if you misfire, you got to make sure that you still keep it far enough to the right. And turning that one over is Hokom, and she's flirting a little bit. That gravel area is out of bounds, and she comes up just short of it. So she's going to play from right there without a penalty.
Yeah, that's a sneaky little gravel pit. You just assume that it's going to be the sidewalk that's out of bounds, and that's not even something I think about, but it really does jet in right there.
And Weese with a good run, and she's really fortunate that didn't find an edge and roll even further.
Oh yeah, I've seen that putt before. I've done that putt, and it's rolled back to me before. And you do not want to do that putt again after that happens.
And same thing for Jen there. I mean, you want to be aggressive and run this, but you can find... Oh, wow. Finding the bottom of the basket is Pierce. I was going to say, you can find yourself giving away a stroke really easily on a hole like this if you just don't have the right angle.
Yeah, and I mean, for Paige to go for that, she must have had a good look at the basket. You never know if those palm trees are going to be in your way. And yeah, you don't want to go flying past the basket and then have the palm tree on the way back. So that was pretty aggressive, but that was beautiful, beautiful birdie.
There's only 2 real trees to deal with on this hole, but they are 2 of the most precariously placed trees you can find on the course.
And weirdly shaped. Why are they shaped like that?
I never thought about that before. But
see, if Madison Walker was here and she was doing the commentary, I'm sure she'd know something about it.
She will. Maybe I'll have to ask her. She graciously helped me out during round number 2, and as Hokom is fully outstretched, this is a really uncomfortable putt for her just because of the way she normally putts. But
I don't know. She does yoga, Terry.
That's true.
I think the yoga in the off season and the disc golf strong training she's been doing, that's probably a comfortable pose for her.
All right, I'll give you that. Well, Paige with the birdie. And this is a must get. You want to hang it out around that tree. I think that's the play you do, is out and around that tree. Just let it kind of filter right down to the basket.
Yep, let's see. So Paige took it. Jessica also took the wide shot. Yep, and you just want to have that nice angle that it gives it a chance to skip or roll. And yeah, she looks like she's level with the basket at that point. All right, we got 3 out of 4. Jen does the same shot. Ooh, but unfortunately a little short, doesn't crest that hill to give her enough skip and roll.
It feels like they needed a little bit more power. And here's Hokom's second backhand drive of the round. And you really need to get over that edge. I think that's, definitely the landmark that you're looking at, is you got to get over the edge of that hill, because when you come up short, you're not going to get a skip all the way to the pin.
Okay, good layup.
Well, we knew she was going for it, but yep, if you can't make it, you better be close to the basket for your next putt.
I think Weese was about to bend down and pick her mini because she thought she just took the birdie, and that one slid out on the left side. And this basket must not like these putts here.
Man, I've seen Paige putt a million times, I swear, but that one again looked a little fast. She just didn't hold her hand out there that extra second for that reach. She kind of dropped it. She pulled back and dropped it, and it just didn't fully extend. So I think that's what happened there. It's funny watching disc golf. I mean, I'm always out there and it's just on the course, but when you see people play for so many years, you know their routine and what they do. And, I could tell Nate what he's doing wrong in his round, even if he doesn't want to hear it. But, just watching somebody, you can see what's happening and you can try and help them the best you can.
Well, and speaking of help, Rick, our cameraman, who's worked so hard all weekend, and a huge shout out to him, just unfortunately couldn't get out of the way of that one in time. And I think it actually helped her shot a little bit. It was otherwise going to carry on and go deep of the basket. So she's going to be looking right at it. Meanwhile, Weese comes up short and left.
So when something like that happens, the player just plays it where it lies. I mean, that's so unintentional. And if it is the player that threw the disc that gets in the way, I believe a stroke is involved. But when you hit a spectator or a cameraman in this case, no additional strokes are added. Just a few apologies, and maybe Paige will throw him a tip or something.
Yeah, she's going to be looking at a birdie look here. I think she would have had about the same distance, but she's got a birdie look. It's just that she was on the flatter ground. I think she would have been down a little bit further, about the same distance. But she doesn't capitalize either way, good or bad luck. She doesn't capitalize. She's going to take the par if she converts. And Hokom struggling, trying to beat that one down, saying, get down, get down.
She's, got some physical comedy when she's out there. She really feels that those discs are following her body language, and she
You
creates a
definitely got to get
relationship
into
with
it.
them.
I love it. Meanwhile, we just saw the birdie a moment ago by Jen Allen. It looks like she's going to be the only one to birdie here, which is somewhat surprising.
And speaking of putts, Jessica Weese's putt looks different this year than I've seen in previous years.
It is.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if you had noticed that as well. I thought I had. It seems like that short distance, she's got kind of a totally different release, and I'm not sure that I know what's going on. She's obviously something she's been working on, but it's definitely a different release, and you see it right there, more of a shuttle. So we'll see how that pans out over here. Sure. Anyway, Jen gets the birdie, and we'll listen to a word from our sponsor. Thank you, of course, to Night Eyes with all their amazing products that we see out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I'm very partial to them myself. They're so useful, and speaking of useful, what a great tree stop.
And body language as well. I mean, Jen really followed that shot and executed it exactly on the line that she wanted, and that was near perfect. Unfortunately, Paige had a little wider release than she wanted, and it's just not going to work hard enough to skip back to the basket.
Just like we saw back on hole 12, it's all about the angle here, and 13 as well. If you don't get over a certain landmark or a certain spot in the fairway, you're not going to get to the pin, and there's a great example. If she were 10 feet left and hit off, say, the top of that little mound, she would have probably gotten a much larger flare skip and probably been much closer to the basket. So sometimes a few feet can actually mean 6 to 10 or 20 feet in a skip.
Absolutely. And if you hit the right patch, I mean, you hit one of those brown patches on the top of the hill or one of these darker green patches, that makes all the difference as well. If you want to get that specific out there. Not like you can really dial that in, but maybe somebody might claim that.
And this one's very, very protected. You've got this electrical box of sorts in the way. Then you've got this tree that overhangs. It reminds you a lot of hole 10, but
oh my.
No big deal. Paige is just going to run that one down from outside the circle.
That was incredible. I mean, I don't know how far she was away from the basket, but she knew it was absolutely going in. I think I actually saw that she had commented on Facebook after this round saying that I called it. I told my caddy I was going to make this. It's a tricky shot between the tree. OB maybe if she went too long, and she knew it. I mean, she knew it as soon as it left her hand.
And Jen Allen with a boring park job birdie as opposed to what we saw from Paige. And that's Robert the Hare McCall on the bag for Paige Pierce of Dynamic Discs.
I thought that was your nickname, Terry. You're not the Hare?
I'm not.
You got many other nicknames. I heard Nate calling you.
I did. I heard you were influencing some of that. So I will thank Nate for joining us during the live broadcast. It was a very welcome change-up. And Paige is able to crush here. They're yelling for it to get in. She's not quite that far, but she's putting on a 426 slightly uphill hole here.
I've seen Paige go OB long many times on this hole, and so it's awesome to see her park it. And just to have that distance to throw 426 feet when you wanted to. I wish I could pay her to throw a few shots for me like that.
Well, she's got an advantage here when you're looking at this hole, like just one that she can get to that most women in the field can't get to. So to even have a birdie look is great, as Sarah's going to have to just play that little backhand approach shot. That's kind of surprising to see it. That seemed still within her normal forehand approach range.
Yeah, but then looking at the hillside there, forehand angle, it would carry down the hill, whereas the highs are right there, hit the side of the hill and stuck pretty good for her. You don't want too much skip or roll or anything. Again, another tricky basket placement. Wow. Nice, Paige.
Yeah.
There's another birdie. That is definitely another bonus birdie out there on the course.
Yeah, most women, and if we check the stats, I don't have them in front of me. Of course, udisclive.com is where you can find those. I'm willing to bet she may have been the only birdie in the field that entire day, possibly throughout the weekend. It's that much of a bonus here on hole number 15. As the rest of the women are cleaning out. We'll be back after a word from our sponsor as we check the scores. Paige Pierce trying to pull away. She's got the last two and now has a 5-stroke advantage over Jennifer Allen.
So you just walked into a disc golf store. Look at all that sweet plastic. So many new discs to try. What if you don't like this new disc? Rest easy. When shopping at any of our buyback retailers, if you are not completely satisfied with a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs, bring it back within 14 days with proof of purchase and we will replace it with whatever disc you want in the store, no matter the brand. It is that simple. Now get out there and play some disc golf. Check out dynamicdisc.com/retail to find a buyback retail partner near you.
And what a great service by Dynamic Discs. I'm going to go in there and buy like 100 discs and just throw them all and then return them if I don't like them. You can do that. I'm sure you'll like them, though. All right, there's a great drive by Pierce.
Yeah, and this is right in Jen. Oh, and in her wheelhouse. At least she made the Mando there, but that's not going to be an easy birdie putt.
And this is a great one. You're really just throwing it out there. I don't want to say at any angle, but you could get this one there all the way there in the air, or you can play the skip, depending on what you want to do. And a third backhand tee shot here by Sarah Hokom. That's her third tee shot of the round backhand. I know a lot of people give her a hard time about it, but she unfortunately misses the Mando, so she's going to go to it again.
Hey, it's definitely not her strongest throw, but it's impressive how many times she'll pull out a backhand. And for any player out there, you gotta incorporate these different throws into your game. And, sometimes at the biggest tournaments of the year, you might have to use them. And she's finding more opportunities to use the backhand shot. Wow.
So although maybe not quite as close as she wanted, she makes up for it with a great putt. Jessica's got a much shorter look at it. No problem. She'll take the birdie. So missing the mandatory and then not getting fully up and down right away is really going to punish her. She sees the other three women in the card all take birdies. Meanwhile, Sarah going through her routine and walking away with the double bogey. That's going to make hole 17 that much longer at 468 feet.
Yeah, and lost 3 strokes there to Paige and the rest of the ladies. So that's a tough go on that one. Ending the round with a couple more strokes out of your scorecard is never a good thing.
And this time, Paige says, I'll go right over Rick's head. He said he was standing out there and he didn't necessarily know exactly where to be. He's like, I wasn't expecting somebody to put it clear over my head. And so great camera work there, Rick.
Rick, I'm going to have to introduce you to Paige Pierce.
Exactly.
That's what she does.
She certainly does. And Jen is short and left of this one here on hole number 17.
Yeah, she's probably not too happy with that one. Jen crushes. She has the distance record right now, the world distance record, and she can throw this far, especially on a hole like this where it's downhill. It's very approachable for somebody that throws as far as she does.
Just like we saw a few holes ago, unfortunately, Hokom turning that one over, and that's just going to make this 468-footer that much more challenging. Everyone else is going to have relatively easy and short approaches, even to look at a putt, and Hokom's working a little bit harder than the rest of them.
And it looks like a beautiful day. It looks really calm. It's only you standing in the way of how well you're going to shoot out there. These are the kind of days that you can just really put out a great round when you don't have to deal with the elements.
That's a great way to put it, as Paige just squeaks it in.
Giving it everything she has. I mean, for her to get that low, using all her legs, pushing that disc into the basket. I think that's her 4th birdie in a row.
She is just tearing it up here on the back, as Jessica's going to take her par, and Paige trying to distance herself right now. She won this by a dozen or so strokes the previous year. She's the defending champ, as Sarah makes a great putt right through the trees. And here we are on what many consider moving day, and she's going to move into the final round with a significant advantage if she keeps this up, as Alan taps in. We move to the final hole.
Wow. Look at all that pink on that scorecard. That's a good indication that you're shooting well when your scorecard is real colorful. I guess not for bogey, so those are colored too.
They can be, but Paige trying to cap off the round with a park job.
Yep, that's what you want on that last hole. They shortened the basket on this tee, or on this hole 18. Still, you have the water that comes into play, but it's 291 feet. That's definitely within their distance. All these ladies have a good birdie run at this shot.
Looked like Weese might have almost slipped a little bit on that tee, but still very a great outcome here. The other basket, I believe, comes in at 400 feet. And at 400 feet, you would see a lot of people play out to the middle, lay up, and walk away with a 3. Here, I think someone could easily still find the water with an errant shot or a sidewalk, or they could be next to the basket looking at a birdie putt. So I do love the slightly different basket here as Jen gives that one a run.
Yeah, I like it as well. I think it's nice to see these ladies have these birdie opportunities, whereas I would typically throw my drive to about that place and I'd be really happy with it, but I'd still have a really far up shot. And so we'd get a lot of boring 3s. And you have to stay safe on this one. There's no other option. That was a beautiful birdie. I bet Sarah's happy to get the birdie, but unfortunate how the last few holes went for her round.
A little bit of a...
And Paige is very happy with that finish. That was 5 in a row. Nice birdies on the back, killing it. I think 6 birdies total in that final 9.
Very impressive. The hair giving her the high five. I want to thank you again for joining us, Val. It's been a great round number 3. We're moving into the final day at Vista on Saturday. We'll see you then. Thanks again.